Hello everybody, welcome to Universe Rewritten, the Total Extreme Wrestling channel where I take parts of wrestling history, give them a little twist and create a story in that new universe. This is episode 3 of ECW ReBorn. In today's video, we've got our third event, ECW Declaration of Violence, which will see a three-way light heavyweight championship match, two big debuts, the beginnings of a new stable, and a world championship cage match between Rob Van Dam, the world champion, and Vampiro, the man who currently has possession of the championship belt. So, with all that said, let's get over to Philly for ECW Declaration of Violence.
Extreme Championship.
We are once again in the ECW arena, and it is of course another sellout with 1,500 hungry, passionate ECW fans all expecting a great show tonight. And so let's see if we can bring them that. As Mick Foley opens the show, he's in the ring and he says he still finds it hard to believe that he owns ECW, and it is damn good to be here in the ECW arena once more. Everybody knows about his history with cage matches, and he can't wait to see what happens tonight in the main event between Vampiro and Rob Van Dam when they go one-on-one inside a cage for the ECW World Title. But before Mick Foley can get any more cheap plugs out of the way, Christopher Kanyon comes out to the ring and he says that he's in a bad mood tonight because he wants to fight Tommy Dreamer and prove once and for all that Dreamer is nothing but a fraud. Mick says that he really wants to see that match as well, but Tommy Dreamer is already booked in the TV title tournament tonight against Juventud Guerrera. But if Kanyon is that angry and in that bad of a mood, he can have a fight right now against whoever comes out from that very cheap curtain just over the way over there. And the guy that comes out is Mikey Whipwreck. Still can't say his name. I don't know why. I just don't feel comfortable saying Mikey Whipwreck. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? But anyway, he's the one who comes out and he says he's a friend of Tommy Dreamer's and he's been in the ring with him and he doesn't think that Kanyon is on his level and he's going to prove it right now. And the match begins immediately following that. But this segment gets a 76 and it's a 98 from Mick Foley for his initial dialogue, his initial monologue. That's the word I'm looking for to start the show. 98. That's the highest part I've had on this game since it came out. And wow, that's why I chose Mick Foley for this, people, because my God, 98, that is brilliant. 76 for the segment as a whole. Kanyon got a 75. Mikey Whipwreck only got a 45 because he looked lost out there and very poor when trying to improvise dialogue. I don't think we're going to give him too much microphone time in the future, but 76, a crowd is hot and rising, and that is a brilliant way to start the show. And next up, we do go into the match between Chris Kanyon and Mikey Whipwreck. The segment only gets a 53 as Chris Kanyon does defeat Mikey in 8 minutes 21 with a flatliner. Kanyon got a 64, Whipwreck only a 42, so not brilliant on the mic. Okay in the ring, crowd is still hot, so 53, we'll take it and we'll move on. What we move on to is Kid Kash still beating up Mikey Whipwreck after the match. He absolutely dominated the match, by the way. That's what I set the match to be, a Kid Kash dominant victory. And he's still attacking Mikey after the match when Tommy Dreamer comes out and he makes the save. The segment gets a 62. Kid Kash legs it away before Tommy Dreamer can get to him. And Kid Kash has got away. He's laughing, he's smirking, he has sent the message to Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer is angry, however, but 62 for the segment. And Tommy Dreamer goes straight into his match with Juventud Carrera. At the end of that last segment, he grabbed the microphone quickly and he said, I'm angry, I need to fight somebody right now, so might as well get my match out of the way. And so we did go straight into his TV title tournament match against Juventud Guerrera. The match went for 12 minutes 38 seconds and Dreamer ends up winning with a DDT. Kanyon tried to return and tried to cost Dreamer the match, but he ended up hitting Juventud instead, which led to Dreamer hitting his DDT. So Dreamer advances in the television title tournament. 58 for the segment. Dreamer gets a 63. Juventud only a 39. That's disappointing. I thought Juventud would get better than that, but apparently not. So only a 39 for him. The storyline between Dreamer and Kanyon is continuing. It's advanced. It's not gained any heat though, but it is advancing. So you can only do what you can do. Crowd are still hot, and 58 for the segment. And then next up, we have got a backstage promo from the world champion Rob Van Dam. And so he is backstage. He's got a poster for the main event behind him. He's in his gear, taping his wrists, clearly annoyed but trying to stay cool. The ECW logo flickers on the screen, and RVD says, let's get one thing straight right now. I'm the ECW World Champion, Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show. But for the past 2 months, this poser, this brooding target, cheap ass knockoff of a vampire, Vampiro, has been walking around with my title, holding it up like he earned something. I've not been able to hold that championship in my hands yet. He took that from me. But he didn't beat me. He didn't pin me. He didn't earn a damn thing. You're nothing but a thief. You stole it, dude. But tonight, inside that cage, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and no shadows to crawl back into when the lights hit too bright. 'Cause when you're in there with Rob Van Dam, the lights are always on. You can call yourself champion. You can dress the part. You can even polish my belt. But when the smoke clears and the blood dries, the only thing left standing in that cage is gonna be the guy who has always been the best in ECW, Rob Van Dam. And that segment gets us a 64 rating, which I'm fairly happy with that. I'm fairly decent with that. A storyline has still only advanced, not gained any heat, unfortunately. But Rob Van Dam has got a groundswell of public support, and he is on a 64 segment rating. And so let's go and move all along. What we have moved on to is Christopher Daniels versus Too Cold Scorpio. And it's Christopher Daniels who has got the win in 9 minutes 17 by pinfall with a sit-out pedigree after a rather tubby and curvaceous figure in a dark blue robe has come out to the ring and attacked Too Cold Scorpio. It is then revealed that it's the Blue Meanie, and the Blue Meanie, after being defeated by Christopher Daniels last month, has joined up with him. And so this segment only gets a 31, and it had embarrassing wrestling, apparently. Christopher Daniels only getting a 30. Too Cold Scorpio doing even worse with a 28. And oh my gosh. You're going to see in a second, I've got really big plans for Christopher Daniels. You'll see that as well if you watch the last video. You'll know I've got big plans for Christopher Daniels. But my gosh, he needs to be doing better than a 30. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and turn the Blue Meanie heel. Unfortunately, because the companies, how the mod is and everything, I've had to reopen ECW. So everybody the game thinks have just recently had their face or heel turn or alignment or whatever, if you know what I mean. So yeah, every heel turn or face turn for a little while is going to be hurt because they're going to think it's very recent after their last turn. And so we're changing his gimmick as well. We're changing him to like an occult follower. You'll understand that in a minute. So let me just read this. Would you still like to just do the gimmick change? No, I want to do both. So turn him heel, and yep, okay. And so Blue Meanie is now using an occult follower as a gimmick, but it has got an initial rating of great. I like that. I like that a lot. That is good. But apparently the turn was a complete disaster. I was kind of expecting that because, like I said, the game thinks everybody on the roster has only just recently turned or whatever. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing, but let's move on from that embarrassing segment. And so, what we're moving on to is a Christopher Daniels promo. He's standing in the ring after pinning Too Cold Scorpio. The crowd is buzzing. Well, they're not, but I was hoping they would be when I wrote this script. They're buzzing after the shocking interference by a now transformed Blue Meanie who stands just behind Christopher Daniels. His eyes are vacant. His ring gear is dark blue and tattered, a total contrast to his old, goofy, fun-loving past. Christopher Daniels grabs a microphone. Tonight, you all saw it. You saw it happen with your own unworthy, unblessed eyes. You saw a man, no, a soul cast off the chains of mockery and indulgence. The fool you once called Blue Meanie is dead. What stands behind me now is reborn, purged, purified, fallen. Daniels then walks slowly to the blue meanie, gently places a hand on his head like a preacher anointing a follower. He is the first to open his eyes and see the truth that this world, this company is a cesspool of false prophets, broken promises, and wasted potential. ECW glorifies the violent, the vulgar, the damned, but it has no room for salvation. That's why I'm here. Not to save ECW, but to condemn it. And then the crowd boos, "You suck, you suck, you suck." I am the fallen angel, and I walk this broken ground, not to wrestle, but to cleanse, to call the lost to my side, to take the misfits, the cast-offs, the forgotten, and forge them into something terrifying, something eternal. We are the ones who have nothing left but the pain you gave us, and so now we give it back tenfold. And then he turns to the blue meanie, who nods slowly, unnervingly, subserviently. Tonight, the congregation of the fallen takes its first breath, but soon, very soon, you'll all be on your knees. Daniels drops the mic, lights dim to a flickering purple and red strobes. A low, droning chant plays over the PA as Daniels and Meanie slowly exit together, and the crowd is just in stunned silence. And that segment gets us a 55 rating. Quite happy with that. Daniels seems to be better on the mic than he is in the ring right now, but 55, I'm very happy with that. Daniels worked the crowd well, commentary did well, Daniels is getting better at his gimmick, and so yeah, 55, I am happy with that. And next up, we have got Sabu in the ring, and he is taking on Kid Kash, and Sabu gets the victory in 11 minutes 35 after a moonsault. The match was designed to be chaotic and full of action and full of mayhem. 60 for the segment. Sabu getting a 58. Kid Kash, though, getting one better with a 59. Might have to start pushing Kid Kash. And Sabu and Kash have great chemistry, apparently. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. But 60 for the segment. Crowd are very, very hot. And so, yeah, I'm surprisingly happy with that one. 60 for the segment. After the match, Sabu is celebrating his victory when the lights go off and a recognisable male voice says, "Turn that light back on. I need everybody to see us." The light comes back on, and Rena Mero, the former Sable, is face to face with Sabu, who gets jumped from behind by her husband, Mark Mero. Mero hits his finisher on Sabu. He grabs another microphone and he says that this is the greatest day in the history of ECW, as myself, Mark Mero, and the hottest woman alive, Rena, are now in this company. And so this is the land of extreme, the land where sweaty guys beat each other with chairs in some bingo hall for $50 and a beer. And here I am, Mark Mero, the prettiest thing you people have ever laid eyes on. And the crowd is booing loudly. Now, I didn't come to ECW because I needed a payday. God knows this place can't afford to give me one. I came here because I felt sorry for you. All of you. You deserve to see someone like me, someone with style, someone with class, someone too big, too beautiful, too good for this dump. And then Rena steps forward, brushing her hair over her shoulder. And let's be honest, ECW, you've never seen a woman like me. You've got your little dancing girls and your beer swilling ring rats, but now you've got a supermodel, someone who doesn't belong in this filthy, smoky dump of a hole. And Mark Mero puts his arm around Rena. So here's the deal, ECW. We're too big for this place, but we're going to stay. We're going to stay and make it better. Make it worth looking at. You can boo. You can chant, you suck, you suck. You can throw your beer. It doesn't matter. Cause Mark Mero and the beautiful Rena, we're the biggest stars you'll ever have in this company. And tonight, this little bingo hall, it just got a lot prettier. And then they walk off out of the ring. And wow, what isn't so pretty is the segment rating. Mark Mero attacking Sabu only got a 16. That's not good. That's not good at all. Part 2, the promo from Mark Mero, Johnny B. Bad, whatever you want to call him, and Sable, aka Rena. That got a 37. That got a little bit better. Rena is very good at her diva gimmick. Mark Mero, I've given him a big league star gimmick, and that's got a rating of poor. And he was poor when going off script, apparently. And this angle cooled the crowd a little bit. So, 31, and that's cooled the crowd a little bit. So, yeah, that's debut number 1. I'm calling them to one debut. And next up, Julio De Niro is in the ring. He's unhappy that he's not had a match yet in the new ECW. So he's making an open challenge now to anybody from anywhere who happens to be in the ECW arena tonight. And so De Niro says that he wants to prove that he's the toughest dog in the yard. And that brings out somebody who might disagree a little bit. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. Davey Boy Smith is making his ECW debut, and he says, "Did I hear what you just said correctly? Well, I need to see just how tough you are, because as far as I'm concerned, there is nobody tougher than the British Bulldog." And again, it's another poor segment. It's only got us a 30. De Niro's open challenge got a 30 in his part, but Bulldog's reply and answering of the challenge only got a 26. It's good ratings for both guys for their gimmicks. De Niro's arrogant gimmick has got a great, as has Davey Boy's British Bulldog gimmick, as you would expect. Davey Boy Smith was penalised due to the effects of going through personal issues. That's a little bit disappointing. That is a little bit disappointing. So yeah, this show is cooling down very, very quickly. So let's see what the match actually gets between these two. Not much better. It's only a 32 as Davey Boy wins the match in 8 minutes 25 after, of course, a running power slam and a wild brawl of a match. Davey Boy got a 43. De Niro got a 20. Might be having second thoughts about using Davey Boy Smith going forward. If I'm honest, this might end up being just a one and done deal, if I am quite honest. Yeah, because that wasn't a good promo, not a good match, and he's going through personal issues. We might not be seeing Davey Boy again. I'll have to think about that. But next up, we do get the crowd a little bit hotter, as in a 53 rated segment, the Sandman comes to the ring through the crowd with, of course, his usual beer and Singapore cane in hand. He says he's still pissed off about what happened last month. Everybody knows he's not exactly a traditional guy, but he does have respect for those who came before him, especially when they have the same attitude as him. So when he saw Mahoney and Rotten attack Roddy Piper last month, he had to help him out, and now he wants to fight one or both of them to teach them a lesson that only he can teach. And of course, Mahoney and Rotten then come out and they tell the Sandman that they did what they did for the sake of ECW. This is the land of the extreme, the misfits, the unwanted, and we're protecting this place. We all saw what happened in Atlanta when they brought the old guys in that place. That place died, and we don't know about you, but this place is finally paying us regularly, and we get to beat people up, so we don't want ECW to go the same way. Sandman says, "What on earth? What the hell are you talking about? Piper was just here to watch the show and hang out, but then you come along and took him out. So why don't you tough guys come down that ramp, get into this ring, and get this Singapore cane wrapped around your heads?" And Mahoney and Rotten do indeed come into the ring, and despite his best efforts, they actually end up getting the best of the Sandman. And the segment ends with the two of them putting the Sandman through a table and standing over him as the segment ends. Like I say, 53 rating for the segment. Sandman's promo gets a 58. Mahoney and Rotten only got a 38, and the actual attack got a 55. The storyline between Rotten, Mahoney, and Sandman and Piper has continued, and Sandman enjoyed going off script, but Mahoney and Rotten didn't. They both need to be scripted. I need to remember that for future, but with my ADHD, I'm gonna guess I'm not gonna remember that. But Balls Mahoney is getting better at his gimmick. The crowd is rising and getting hotter once more, so that is good to see. Next up, we have the freeway between Billy Kidman, Chavo Guerrero, and Tiger Mask IV for the ECW Light Heavyweight Championship. The match gets us a 57 rating for the segment. Billy Kidman defends his ECW light heavyweight title. He wins it in 13 minutes 59 when he pins Tiger Mask to fourth. And it says here he used a foreign object, but this is ECW. Foreign objects might as well be called domestic objects. In fact, what I'm saying he did is that he grabbed Tiger Mask's mask, he tried to rip that off, and that distracted him, and that allowed Kidman to hit his powerbomb and then go for the shooting star press. And so Billy Kidman defends his light heavyweight title for the first time. Kidman gets a 60, Chavo Guerrero gets a 62, and Tiger Mask the fourth gets a 46, and I'll be back in a minute. I've got someone at the door. And what we have got now is a little bit of a dream match, I would think, for hardcore fans. I think this would be really quite decent in real life. But what we have got is Terry Funk against Fit Finlay. The segment only gets us a 51, and Terry Funk gets the win in 9 minutes 17 with a pile driver. Terry Funk got a 43, Finlay got a 47. This was Finlay's debut in ECW, and he's only got a poor rating for his gimmick. So that's quite disappointing. Only a 51, but the crowd is back up to being hot. So that is one positive as Terry Funk beats Fit Finlay. And next up, we are backstage in a darkened boiler room. The ECW World Title belt is sitting in Vampiro's lap as he rocks back and forth on a metal chair, eyes half closed, face twitching with quiet madness. A red light flickers. I didn't steal the belt. I rescued it. He looks down at the title, stroking it like a prized possession. I saved it from mediocrity, from the sallow hands of a man too stoned to see what this title means. Rob Van Dam, you think being champion is about spin kicks and showboating? It's not. It's about sacrifice, pain, obsession. He stands, suddenly clutching the belt tightly to his chest. This title was screaming to be reborn, to be soaked in blood, encased in steel, and rebirthed under my reign. You didn't lose it yet, but you will, because inside that cage, I won't just beat you, Rob. I'll end you. He snarls, holding the belt up to the camera. This is already mine. Tonight, I just make it official. And that segment gets us a 44, which is disappointing, and the storyline loses heat. Oh, that's not good. Okay, it is what it is. The crowd's still hot. It's a 44 for the segment. Let's move on. And what we move on to is a 58 rated match between Lance Storm and Ian Rotten. Lance Storm gets the victory in just over 12 minutes by submission with his single leg Boston Crab. And the match was designed to calm the crowd a little bit because this is the semi-main event. Lance Storm got a 69, Ian Rotten just a 26, but 58 rated for the segment. Crowd simmering down a little bit. Might have been a mistake to call them, maybe. Oh, I'm nervous about the main event now. I am really, really nervous about the main event. I almost don't want to press this button. Oh no. I may have screwed this up big time, guys and girls and everyone else in between. Ah, let's go. Let's be brave. It's a 68 for the main event. I guess that was as good as you could probably hope for. I was kind of hoping for a 70, but 68 will take it. And in a surprise result, in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, we have a new ECW World Champion. Vampiro has defeated Rob Van Dam. And wow, Van Dam got an 81 for his in-ring performance. Vampiro only got a 48. It was, I believe I set it to be, what was it? Only hardcore. Why is it saying that the match went too long, given its aim? I know it went 19 minutes, but surely a hardcore match can go that long. Surely. But okay, I will have to remember that for future. But the match went on a little too long, given its aim. Vampiro is still in poor form, so you might be asking, Spen, what on earth are you doing giving the title to Vampiro? He's only pulling out 48s. He's in poor form. But, I'll flash it up on the screen now. Vampiro's popularity in pretty much all areas apart from Tri-State is at least 10 better than Rob Van Dam. Vampiro is about 60 in most areas. It's only the Tri-State where Van Dam beats Vampiro. So I've done it based on that. Based on the fact that Vampiro is more popular, and also I kind of think having Van Dam chase the title, even though he's had it but not been able to hold it, I think that could be a good twist to this story. Let me know what you think down below. Would you have given Vampiro the world title? Would you have kept it on Van Dam? Please do let me know down below. I would love to know what you guys would do. But yep, Vampiro ends the show as the new ECW World Champion. The crowd was just simmering at the end. I do think calling them with that semi-main event was a huge mistake. Maybe we might have got a 70 if we hadn't have done that. Who knows? But yeah, 68 for the segment. And we end the show with Vampiro legging it out of the arena. He did win that cage match, by the way. I probably should say this. I completely forgot that in the disappointment of the rating. Vampiro won the match because Van Dam went for the frog splash off the top of the cage, is what I'm saying. He went for a frog splash off the top of the cage. He missed, and then Vampiro rolled out of the ring. And then Vampiro rolled out of the ring, out of the door, and that is how he won the ECW Championship. So, yeah, a bit of a fluky win there. I should have mentioned that as well. But, yep, 62 as Vampiro gets back to his feet on the ground and he hightails it out of the arena with the ECW Championship. And so, yep, 62 rating to end the show. And so, what are we thinking for the show as a whole? I'm going to say 64, 64, 65, 66. I will take that. I will take that all day long as if my name is Gary Barlow. I will take that all day long. And we've increased our popularity in 18 regions. Very happy with that. Not going to address the locker room. Let's have a look at the financial report. We've made $750,000 profit from that. So I love this mod. This mod makes booking ECW from a financial perspective really easy. I really, really like that. And so popularity recap. So yeah, we have increased everywhere we have been broadcast. We've jumped up 2 in Great Lakes and the Mid-Atlantic. And yep, everywhere else we've jumped up 1. And so yeah, very, very happy to see that. And so guys, we're not going to do a media scrum, and so that is where we are going to leave it for tonight. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed that video. Do just want to say, sorry if you have made it this far. Sorry you had to wait this long for this video. Last couple of weeks, life's been lifing. I've been extra busy and I've had lots of things going on, so I do apologise you've had to wait. You're not going to have to wait so long for the next video. Not sure what that event's going to be called as of yet. Keep an eye on the Grey Dog forums. I've got a thread up on there about this series, so please do get involved over there, and get involved, say hello over on Twitter as well, at SpenComs, SpenComms. That's where you can find out all about upcoming videos and all my upcoming football/soccer commentaries if you're into that. So please do keep an eye out over on there. And yep guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support on the last video as well. That's one of my best ever videos on YouTube. I had an old channel where I used to do football manager stuff, but that last video's got some of the best numbers I've ever had. So thank you very, very, very much for that. Now I'm going to let you go, and I'm not going to waffle anymore. So thank you all for watching. I shall see you all next time.